Hello and welcome everybody to this virtual study information day. My name is Michael Granitzer. I have the chair of data science here at the University of Passau in the faculty of computer science and mathematics. And it's now my pleasure to introduce to you one of our newest, or the newest study program, that is the Master in Artificial Intelligence Engineering. The master program starts with winter semester 21-22 and is a study program at the Faculty of Computer Science and Informatics. You see the faculty here on the image. That's our main faculty building. You see it's a very nice view and a nice building, and surrounded in a very nice campus. This is the University of Passau campus here in Passau. So in the next couple of minutes, I want to convince you about the subject of artificial intelligence engineering and briefly introduce what's in the study program, so the contents of the study program. And I will start by giving you a brief outline of the major part or the focus of the program. You know, all artificial intelligence is a very trending and upcoming topic. And I want to tell you how what we can offer you to advance your skills in this field of artificial intelligence. Second, I also want to talk a bit about career prospects. That means show you a bit of which jobs you might do in the future after completing the study program. And then, if you're still with me, and I dearly hope that you're with me, we'll briefly explain the details of the program, the requirements, and also finally how you can apply for the study program. But let's look at the subject area. I'm pretty sure you all heard already of artificial intelligence. It's hard to not hearing of AI when from the media or from the web or from somewhere else. And now one might think that AI is a very recent field. But AI, or the idea of creating machines that are like humans or act like humans, is actually a very old one. It was always a question of a lot of researchers if this is possible. Here you see one of the first, you see an image from Leonardo da Vinci's robot. So Leonardo da Vinci in the medieval ages already thought about how one can make a robot or make a machine move like a human by using mechanics. Of course, now we don't use mechanics anymore or do not think about mechanics, but we have digital technology in order to not only move like humans, but to make machines smart in a way that they can do automated decisions, and that they can mimic or approximate human intelligence or conduct in an intelligent manner. That is usually referred to as artificial intelligence. And there are some very interesting and intriguing core questions in there. The first question, of course, is, can machine actually learn? Is the intelligence of a machine then comparable, or will it be ever comparable to those of the human? Then also, what are the limits of learning? Are there limits of learning? So if machines can, computers can do things faster than humans, so can they also learn faster? Or are there limits to their learning capabilities? Is learning and intelligence unique to humans? So these are more theoretical questions, so to say. But then you already know that there are certain systems already in place who work in a very narrow setting and do intelligence, under quotes, task. For example, detecting objects in an image. So if you use your smartphone camera, you see that smartphone camera can detect faces, for example. Now, this called of narrow AI already exists, but now the question is, how can we integrate those learning systems into existing systems, and how can we build those systems and apply them to certain application fields. And what is the engineering approach to that? And then there are questions beyond the pure technique and the pure computer science and math, namely, what's the impact on society? So if we have artificial intelligence, are there any boundaries we should foresee? Are there any ethical or legal constraints that such machines should fulfill? What are our demands to those machines? And what are also potential concerns? And that requires not only to build those systems, but also discuss their usage and their constraints. Now, what can we offer in Passau in the study program along these lines of questions? First, of course, there is the foundation. Similar as to computer science, we have again a foundation of algorithms and math, which is important, especially for artificial intelligence, which is as a subject between computer science and mathematics. So you need a strong mathematical background, especially in stochastics, but also beyond, to understand the capabilities and the limits of potential learning system, of the algorithms behind. You have to understand algorithm engineering to know runtime complexities and how long it would take for algorithms to do certain things. So that is necessary to have this strong theoretical base. The second part is, of course, this special subset of algorithms that have been developed over the past decades in order to allow machines to learn in various different domains. And these are those AI methods as another area where you will learn about symbolic or sub-symbolic AI, so principal logics and these kind of neural networks that you see here depicted. But also beyond that, classical optimization techniques or data science for working or exploring data, and of course also stochastics and statistics that are the core of every AI system today. But beyond the mathematical foundation and the core, there is also the question on how can we engineer those systems? Because the learning algorithm is never used in an isolated manner. They all have a kind of surrounding system they are working. If you think, for example, searches via Google, the ranking is more or less learned based on certain signals, but the learning system is embedded into the search engine per se. And so there is the question on how can we integrate learning algorithms in systems, and comparable to software engineering, what is the engineering process behind that? What steps do we need to take to ensure certain properties? And different than software engineering, AI-based systems depend to a large degree not only on the algorithm, the software, but also on the data. So you have to understand how to engineer the data, how to model the data. You also have to understand how to deploy those learning algorithms on a larger scale, because they are usually very resource demanding. You then also have to understand the security constraints of those. There's, again, those systems, it's not guaranteed that they always work, so they need to be reliable, but they could be also exploited by other ways. And this is this field of AI engineering, AI systems engineering, which is also at the core of the whole study program. Then, of course, having this more computer science oriented fields here, the next question is, what is the application case? What is the application scenario of AI systems? And there we offer different cases where media, finance, industry, and mobility, just to name a few, where you learn what is this specific properties of the application domain and what can be solved by AI in such application domains. For example, in media, can we analyze videos automatically? Can we generate videos automatically? Can we understand text? To which degree can we understand text? Etc., etc. So that's the application part. And finally, there are also so-called cross-cutting concerns. That means non-functional requirements to AI systems, if you want to view it from a software engineering point of view, or concerns that do not necessarily require the do not necessarily have a technical constraint on the system, but that tackle aspects like society, ethics, or law, where the question is, what are regulations to, or what are constraints given by law to AI systems? Yeah? How can law regulate AI systems? Then on the ethical part, the question is, what should we do with AI, and how can we, for example, make that AI is fair? And there are a lot of questions that surround this topic of AI that needs to be considered, or at least also understood by people who develop these kind of AI-based systems. And these are the areas we want to offer here in our study program that hopefully allows you to dive deeper into the subject of the AI and become an AI engineer or an AI researcher, of course, because the program is oriented so that it can cover both career paths for industry and, of course, for science. What are the career perspectives? AI is currently the trend, I would say, in the job market. It is also the trend which spans across very different sectors, very different fields. And here I brought you a little bit of a study from Indeed that showed that 29% of AI job listings growth from May 2018 to May 2019. So in 1 year, 30% of more job vacancies have been there in the field of AI. At the same time, less people are searching for jobs via that platform that is mentioned here, which means there is a growing demand, but the demand currently cannot be satisfied by, and there are more and more people, there's a shortage of AI experts. So by completing the study program, you will be able to work in that field. You will be able to work as an AI engineer, as a data scientist, as a maintaining AI infrastructure, an AI DevOps, data engineer. But you can also go beyond in more management-oriented roles like a chief digital officer, a product manager, data consultant, and many, many more. What are the features of our program? How can we, as a faculty and as a university, bring you there? Well, we have composed in the study program a broad, internationally very relevant module selection, so you can choose from a broad range of modules in the different areas that I have shown you. And because we are a rather small university and a small faculty, you will be also given the chance to work very closely with chairs here at the faculty, and therefore you will be integrated in cutting-edge research projects. That means you will have the possibility to work as a student assistant and or conduct a seminar or master thesis in cutting-edge research, and maybe also will be able to contribute already during your study times to advance the field of AI. You will develop skills for careers in research, academia, and industry, and you will be able to choose during your study time Yeah, we also, of course, have excellent relationships with enterprises here in the region and beyond. So Bavaria, for example, is currently investing a lot in further advancing the field of artificial intelligence with new companies, with startup programs that are run at different universities, but also here in Passau we have a very nice startup program. And so we will enter a very brimming environment with lots of opportunities. University of Passau also has, the faculty also has numerous partnerships with universities worldwide that allows you to then maybe take a semester abroad if you want to, and get also international experience. So I hope you're still with me and you're really interested now in how exactly the study program looks like. And yeah, the curriculum is built that you have to complete 120 ECTS points. That is, we have approximately 30 ECTS per semester. That means the average or intended duration is 2 years or 4 semesters. And you can put together your individual curriculum. So there is no fixed list of courses that you have to take, but we have defined different specialization areas, so to say, or research areas, along the topics I outlined in the beginning. So we have at the very base, we have this algorithm engineering and mathematical modeling, where we learn foundations of math and also computer science that are necessary for focusing more on the algorithmic part of AI. Then we have artificial intelligence methods in a range from 10 to 55 ECTS. So 10 is minimum and maximum you can make in this area is 55 ECTS that focus on AI methods, neural networks, machine learning, logics, or those kind of things. Then one subject is then this artificial intelligence systems engineering, where it is the question on how we can build, or what is the engineering process, how can we build those systems, and how can we make certain guarantees that the system then fulfills what we defined in the requirements before. Then we have artificial intelligence applications, which allows you to focus on different application areas. And this is also a domain where we expand beyond the computer science faculty, where you will be able to get in touch with other disciplines, like, for example, economics, or also more text and language related parts. And finally, we have the cross-cutting concerns, where we will learn the basics about legal aspects or legal regulations for AI systems, what needs to be considered, and also ethical aspects. Part here in cross-cutting concerns is also supporting entrepreneurship, so that you might be able to take your ideas and create a startup and become the next Google. If you are more focused on an academic career or career in research, we have one area about research seminars, where you can have additional seminars to foster your skills, to hone your skills in academia. And that also gives you the opportunity later on to continue with the PhD. So there is also a mandatory part that is here with about 40 ECTS. That is 30 ECTS with a master thesis plus the presentation of the thesis. So this is usually done in the last semester of your studies. Then one seminar that gives you the basic skills for working in a scientific and research-oriented way by reading up research papers, doing maybe your own small experiments, and then writing everything in the form of a paper and submitting that. And then there is one mandatory lecture, which is introductory lecture, should be done at the beginning of the study, which is Introduction to AI Engineering, which gives you teaches the basic skills necessary for conducting the program. But besides this mandatory area, you're free to choose from this list here of very different subject domains within the ECTS ranges, and there are different modules and you have different possibilities of specialization. So if you're now even more interested in coming to us, the next question is, of course, what are the requirements for studying the study here in Passau? First, there is a language requirements. The study program is an English study program. That means you have to have English language skills, at least at the level of B2 at CFR language frame, or that translates to several other scores in different tests, like TOEFL tests, IELTS test, the Cambridge English Language Assessment test, or you can also have a first degree completed entirely in English. For all international students, you should also have German language skills at the level of A1, so basically the lowest level. But this language skill is not necessary for studying per se, because all our courses are in English, but for interacting, of course, with the environment. If you're here, it's good for your daily living if you have some level of German, if you know some level of German, and also for interacting with various administrative units here at the university. However, you don't need to have this language skill at the beginning of the study. We offer compulsory German courses if you don't have that level, that need to be completed within the first year, and after the first year you have to show that you have those necessary language skills. So these are the language requirements. For the academic entry requirements, well, of course, in order to go into such a interesting subject as AI, you need to have undergraduate university degree or first university degree, could be also a master, in computer science or mathematics, or a related discipline. Related means that you should have at least 120 ECTS, so basically 4 semesters completed in computer science or mathematics, where from this 120 ECTS points, at least 40 ECTS points have to be in computer science, and 35 ECTS points here have to be in mathematics or theoretical computer science. This is necessary for you to bring the necessary foundations to take up the modules offered. If you have completed a 4-year non-ECTS degree, then the 120 ECTS requirements are deemed to be met if approximately 2/3 of the credits points were earned through computer science related courses. Also, you need to have a final grade of 2.7, that's here, or better under the German marking systems. There are certain equations one can be used to convert international grades into that marking system. So how can you apply? Application deadlines are 31st May for winter semesters, that means October intake, or 15th of December for summer semester, that means April intake. So you start in April then. For certain countries, if you have your first degree in one of the following countries here, and I won't read them out loud because you can read them yourself, then you can apply directly at the university. That means there are no fees. Or for all other candidates, so which are not from one of those countries, or of course also not from Germany, you can apply through UniAssist, which is a German-wide organization, and so you can not only apply via UniAssist for Passau, but also for other universities, although you have to pay a small administration fee. Yes, that brings me to the end. I hope I could raise your interest for this new study program of artificial intelligence engineering. And I hope that you will consider it and consider coming to this very beautiful campus. And if you need further information, there is the website here on the Master of Artificial Intelligence. The URL is down here. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact one of the faculty responsibles or me directly. My website is also found on the web. My email address is also found on the web page. Thank you very much for your attention, and all the best, and stay healthy.